You are listening to the Cigar Noise Boys. You walked into the party like you were walking onto a yacht. Your hat strategically dipped below one eye. Your scarf, it was apricot.
Oh, you're so vain.
Yeah,
Oh
Carly Simon. Skip, were you looking that up?
no, I know
Okay,
that song. That's my generation.
nice. Shout out to ICS. They mentioned Nova Scotia in that song.
I haven't heard the song in forever.
Yeah. The intro is super wild. It doesn't sound like any other song.
I think my favorite song from the 80s is Dire
That song's,
Straits.
that song's not from the 80s, Tyler.
Is that from the 70s?
The You're So Vain
Yeah.
is from the 70s.
Oh, my bad.
I think. Let me see what year it is.
I have no clue, but I would have agreed with Tyler. Tyler, last month was Pirate Month.
Yeah,
Guess
it
what
sucks.
April is? Guess what April is?
Don't
80s April.
80s.
Guess I'll tell you.
I'm an
Yeah.
80s baby.
You're So Vain is 1972.
Ooh, damn. Why did I think 80s?
The year I was born. That song's 50 years old.
Damn.
What's up, Cigar Noise Boys? Dom and Tyler. Here as always. On with Skip, RoMa Tomatoes. Speaking of 50 years, the Quinquagenario coming out soon.
Soon.
When is Mike's 50th?
In in 24.
Okay. So he's probably at least conceptually trying to think about something.
I think so.
Tyler, what are you smoking right now?
I'm smoking the Tatuaje pork tenderloin tuxedo all the way from Phoenix from Lenny. That
Nice.
Skip gave me 5 minutes ago.
Did Brandon design his Easter Bunny Lenny sticker? I guess Brandon's
know.
not the only one who can
Yeah, there's one right there on the
design
table.
that.
The Easter Bunny sticker, the Lenny
Yeah.
sticker.
Did
Saw a picture with
you
that.
ever hear the story behind that?
No.
About the Lenny thing? So I guess the shop hired a graphic designer or marketing guy, and he didn't come up with any good ideas except for he took a picture of Lenny and put it on something, and then Lenny just took it and put it on everything he can get his hands on. So
That's fine.
did you see the Tyler Ruxtool approved one he did?
Yeah.
Or no, disapproved?
Skip, you were just on. How about that cigar? I haven't listened to it, so if we repeat anything, we can just tell people to listen to that. I wanted to start off though, something we talked about with Alex, Benchwork Cigars, Batoon. I think I'm saying that properly. I had never heard of that as a process.
Mhm.
So is it frowned upon to discuss? Is that why, or do consumers just not need to know that?
I don't know. I mean,
Is it
it's like I don't think it's a secret.
Do the majority of people view it as tampering with the purity of tobacco when you're adding something for the fermentation process?
I mean, some people might consider that. I mean, you use Batoon for a lot of things, right? So you have to add water to tobacco to ferment it, period.
Mhm.
So if that tobacco has tobacco pieces in it, so it's kind of like has more kind of tobacco juice, so that you have more bacteria, or if you add sugar, or if you add some other thing that's going to feed the bacteria to make the fermentation faster. I guess that's kind of cheating, but I think what happens is it gets fermented before the nicotine attenuates. So you have an issue. There's a lot of these kinds of tobaccos where they're quote unquote strong, but they're really harsh because they're fermented too fast. A lot of people do it. A lot of people like it. I mean, I think Padron does a lot of it, for example, and people love Padron. So if you like the cigar, what does it matter? Right? I don't think it's positive or negative. I think it's like a process. It's like, did you fry the potatoes? Did you bake the potatoes? Did you, you know, there's all kinds of different processes for getting the tobacco to the point where it's ready to use. Um, there's other kind of batoons that are meant to make tobacco taste different, or so then at that point it's kind of like the tobacco just becomes like the carrier of the flavor instead of the flavor itself, kind of like confused cigars. Um,
For
so
it to be batoon, anything added has to be before the fermentation process, correct?
no,
It's not
no,
going to be
it can be
after.
it can be added any time. It could be added before fermentation to speed up fermentation. It could be added to the tobacco as a flavoring before it's dried to be used. It could be added to the wrapper leaf after the cigar is already made. Um,
Okay.
there's a lot of people that use it. For me, I make a lot of cigars, so there's no reason for me to try to homogenize tobacco to make tobacco with different flavors taste the same always. I think the super majority of people we buy tobacco from don't really use batoon. I think there's maybe one guy that we buy tobacco from that does use batoon, but he swears he doesn't. But you know, at kind of the end of the day, the tobacco tastes the way it's supposed to taste. So, um, you know,
Is it used mainly to homogenize for large scale production?
that's part of it. I think you know, you take tobacco that's um, not strong enough or not doesn't have flavor, and then you kind of make it taste the same every year by having this material you put on it. I mean, look, at the end of the day, you stick the cigar in your mouth and you smoke it. If you like it, you like it. It doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. You know, it's like, do you want to see how the sausage is made, or do you want to smoke cigars? Right.
Yeah.
The thing is, if you're making cigars, or if you have a brand and you're getting that cigar made, you really need to understand what's happening with the tobacco so that you can always repeat it.
Mm.
Right. So if you have someone who's using batoon that's selling you filler, and you create a blend with that, and then 5 years later you have to switch to a different guy who's selling you different tobacco. You know, it may come from a different farm, maybe a different hybrid seed or a generation of seed. But if the guy selling it to you was using batoon, you better know that, or you can never get tobacco that tastes, you know, the same.
Yeah.
So it's important to know what's happening. You know, part of the problem is, part of it is consumers want to know a lot of things that at the end of the day don't really make a difference to them, right? If your tobacco has wine used in it, should you know that? Well, you know, there's no, you know, ingredients list on the side of a cigar box, right? So, you know, super majority of what people tell you is bullshit anyway. So, um, do you just want them to tell you what you want to hear, so that you feel good about it, or so you can repeat it? Yeah, you know, I don't know. So, you know, at the end of the day, it's a choice. I like the natural taste of tobacco, um, and I don't mind taking the time to do tobacco slow, and I think I can tell the difference in the flavors. So, um, but like I said, there is one tobacco we use that I think the guy ferments with batoon. It doesn't smell like it. You can't see it. It's not sticky. It's not, you know, too rapidly fermented, but he has his own little secrets. And the thing is, um, you know, I get a lot of tobacco from him, and if that's what he does to the tobacco, he swears up and down he doesn't. But you know, you can kind of smell the process if you go through, you know, while the tobacco's being worked. I think he uses a little bit of molasses in the batoon, but you know, we don't do it. So that's,
Mhm.
I don't know if that answers your question. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's good. It's like saying people who use marinade on their chicken versus just using salt and pepper or whatever. You know,
Yeah.
it's a if you taste it, the proof is in the eating of the pudding. If you like the way the cigar tastes, then what difference does it make? Like, you
It's
know,
like adding liquid smoke to a barbecue.
yeah, they're not adding. You really want to know what's in a McRib? You know,
Well, I wouldn't.
either you like it or you don't. But I guarantee it's not rib.
I feel like a lot of the questions they ask, they just know so little about it that they don't know the right questions to ask. Like even me, who's been down in Nicaragua, and I don't, I know 0.5%. So it's like the questions I'm asking aren't probably not the right ones. But
I mean, you go to a restaurant and you say, "Hey, I want the this lasagna," and the chef might tell you, "Look, it's got cheese, it's got um, sauce, it's got pasta, it's got meat, pork or beef or whatever." If you say, "Does it have this, that, the other?" the chef's gonna be like, "Go fuck yourself." I'm not telling you what's in, unless you have an allergy that I need to know about, or something. Um, Otherwise, eat it, don't eat it. If you like it, eat it again. If not, I'm serving you a plate of food that you ordered off the menu. It's not my responsibility to teach you exactly how I make this lasagna. You know what I mean?
ooh,
I'm going to make a
So
literary reference. Tyler, have you read Huckleberry Finn?
no,
Oh, are you serious? One of the best books ever. I just taught it this chapter today. So you're talking about how consumers want to know all this information, even though they can't really apply it to anything. It's just information to maybe repeat. There's a part in the novel, they're at an indoor funeral, and there's this dog just going crazy in the cellar. And so they can't do anything in the funeral because this dog's too loud. The Undertaker goes down, the barking stops, and everyone's still waiting. He comes back up and he whispers to the pastor or whatnot, it had a rat, or it was playing with a rat. And knowing that it was playing with a rat was more important to people, more impressive to people than the fact that it stopped and they could continue with the funeral. Okay, that's our educational segment for today.
no, I mean, here's my thing. If there's a cigar that's being sold and you needed me to tell you, okay, this is kind of the body of the cigar. This is what it's similar to. This is the kind of experience you're going to have for you to kind of buy it. I guess I get that. You know, I kind of feel like, hey, it's $8. Take the leap or don't. But you know what I'm saying? It's not like it's not
you're
smoke it
not.
or don't. If
You're not.
but I'm not gonna fucking I made 385,000 of them. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time telling 385,000 people, hey, please buy this cigar. Let me give you the fucking owner's manual to this $8 cigar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a cigar. It has no special features. It has no magic tobacco. It's not aged differently. It's a different blend. It's going to be strong. It's going to be medium. It's a lot like this blend, a little bit different. It's $8. That's all the information you should need to know to buy it or don't buy it. Right now, once you smoke it, you're like, man, I really like that. You buy a box. Hey, man, I really like that. You buy another 2 or 3 boxes. Now you're investing. You're saying, I really want to know what it is about this cigar that I like so much. Right. And you described to me, hey, there's this flavor I get out of it. It's different than this. It's different than this. But I might be able to tell you, hey, that's because it has this Dominican tobacco in it from Leo Reyes or whatever. All of our cigars have that. So if you like that aspect of it, you're going to like it in all of our cigars. You're going to detect it more in the milder cigars and a little bit less in the strong cigars. I know it's from this region, so that later on, when you go, man, I really like this Tatuaje, or I really like this Casada, or I really like this Ernie Carrillo, and you go, I get that similar kind of flavor, then you could say, does this have this tobacco from Leo Reyes? And you go, okay, yeah, now I recognize that. Like I like this certain drummer on this jazz in jazz drummer. So any track he's on, I really like it. You know what I mean?
So
That's a different story because you're kind of invested in the you've bought in and you're just trying to learn for the sake of learning about why it is you like it. That's a lot different thing than you coming up to me like a fucking little punk and saying, What is the blend in this cigar? Please tell me what priming is this? What seed is this? And what was the fermentation technique? How many days did you have the Lajero in this? And what farm did it come from? And it's like, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Do you ask the McDonald's what farm your fucking eggs came from? What color the chicken was? Like,
Was it cage-free? Was it?
That's it. The point is, the difference is, one is you're being a fucking asshole. Like you're trying to prove to me you know something about cigars or whatever. I don't know. The other one, you're really trying to learn about it and understand what it is about it you like. And still the answer may be, look, man, I'm not going to tell you about the blend. If you like it, keep buying those cigars. Right?
Yeah, I was talking to some of the guys at the shop, Triple B. I know he listens. And we were talking about how it would be if you smoke a cigar blind. It's a cool party trick to be able to pick out maybe what type of tobacco is used or region. But beyond that, it would be good knowledge to have to then find out what cigars you actually prefer based on the tobacco. When people post,
yeah, but if you want to do that part, okay, but let me tell you two things. One, that party trick's mostly bullshit, right? And it has no, I mean, really, honestly,
as in you think people already know what
that's like me eating a tomato sauce and going, ooh, this has garlic in it, it has onions. I think this is actually, they use breadcrumbs. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you tell me what factory it is, I'm gonna give you a pretty good shot. You name a cigar that was made at Aganorsa, I can tell you what's in it. Corojo and Criollo, Jalapa from this farm, Condega from this farm. The wrapper is probably from this region. It's Nicaraguan, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Right? It's not so much it's a parlor trick more than it is. It's like the more you know about kind of where a cigar comes from. Look, there's some cigars I can smoke and I can go, I definitely know this has a lapa in it, or I definitely know this has this guy's tobacco in it. And there's guys like Arsenio Ramos and other people who could sit down and smoke a cigar and they could tell you exactly what the fuck's in it. But I'm not a sommelier. I'm a cigar maker and a cigar smoker. And you don't have to know all that stuff in order to enjoy a cigar. On the other hand, to your second point, if you want to learn that, you're not going to learn that by some cigar maker telling you what's in the cigar you like. You're going to learn it by going down to Nicaragua and smoking jalapa for 2 straight weeks. You're going to learn it by going down, to the Dominican and smoking, Mao Piloto Cubano for 2 straight weeks. And then smoking another Piloto Cubano and understanding what's the difference between one versus the other. It's like, you're not going to be able to pick garlic out of a tomato sauce. Like if I tell you this tomato sauce has garlic and this tomato sauce has garlic, and then I lie to you about another tomato sauce, say it doesn't, and then you taste basil and you think in your head that the basil is garlic because every cigar that tastes like basil, someone told you it had garlic in it, then you're not really learning anything. You're just trying to put together stuff based on inaccurate information.
Or for tomato sauce is billed as a garlic tomato sauce, and then you have like a garlic fried chicken, and you think that's the commonality in both, but they're completely different things, just one common ingredient.
No, I'm telling you. Okay, so let's say there's 3 tomato sauces. They all 3 have basil. You taste basil. You say, what's in this? I don't know. It's got garlic in it. And you associate garlic with basil. Then some guy tells you a tomato sauce has garlic in it when it really doesn't, but it does have basil. And I can taste garlic. It's like, no, you're not. You're tasting basil, but you think basil is garlic because you've never tasted basil by itself. You've never tasted garlic by itself. You're just basing it on incomplete information that someone's telling you that this is what you're tasting. It's like, well, I have no idea what the fuck you're tasting. If I showed you the color orange and I told you that was blue, you'd walk around going, oh, the Denver Broncos have orange in their uniform. Yes, they do. The Dallas Cowboys have orange in their uniform. No, they don't. Yes, they do. It's silver and orange. I'm like, no, that's blue. No, I tasted blue before. It's like, well, okay, well, then what the fuck do I know? I just make cigars. The point is, buy the fucking cigar. If you like it, buy it again. If you don't, don't. I'm not pushing back against people who want to be kind of cigar geeks and get educated. But if you want to do that, the way to do that is not by asking me what's in a cigar. The way to do that is use your vacation time to go down to Nicaragua or the Dominican or whatever and start smoking puros of tobacco. If you want to do that, take apart cigars and smoke parts of the cigar and try to narrow down what you think it is. If you want to do that, order individual tobacco from the internet. You can order filler from the internet. You can order binder and wrapper from the internet as a consumer. Order that.
What Alex did.
Look at it, smell it, roll it, learn how to roll a little blunt and smoke it until you know that, hey, that's basil, that's garlic, that's onions, that's, if I give you a pizza and you say, what kind of cheese is in this? And I'm going to say XYZ. It's like, well, you tell me it has Parmesan. That doesn't mean anything. Is it Parmesan from the little green craft can, or is it Parmesan from a big wheel that some master guy took off of a thing 15 years ago? I don't know. It's Parmesan. It's like, well, again, you want to be a cigar maker? Go put 25 years into being a cigar maker like me. If you want to be a cigar consumer, how about let's learn the basics? Like this cigar, the reason why it has no flavor is because it uses low priming. It has no flavor because the wrapper is cooked or manipulated in some way. But as long as you're the guy out there spending $25 on cigars that cost $2 to make, I don't have a lot of time to invest in teaching you how to become a master blender.
Yeah,
because you don't even know how to be an average consumer yet, an informed consumer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when you tell me you love Cuban cigars, you're automatically kind of. I don't. It's not worth the investment.
I met a guy today or a couple days ago. I was training him. He's like, "Oh yeah, I saw you smoking a cigar." I'm like, "Yeah, I smoke a lot." He's like, "Yeah, I decided that I was in Puerto Rico and I was gonna get a good cigar." So I'm like, "Where else can you get a Cubano?" My first cigar, I got it at Puerto Rico. I'm like, "Oh man, that's the only cigar." I'm like, "That probably wasn't a Cuban," but okay,
yeah. I think about when I was coming up, right? And I wanted to learn because when I came up, there was no information about wrapper, filler, binder. There was I didn't even know the three parts of a cigar until I was a couple of years into buying cigars. The box said Honduras. I didn't know there was cigars in Honduras made with tobacco from other countries. I understood the concept of primings, but the fact is, the Ligero in your cigar may not have actually come from the Ligero priming. It could be high texture tobacco from the Viso priming. The Viso in your cigar could actually be from the Ligero priming, but it has low texture, so they classified it as Viso. Once it comes off the plant, very seldom are different primings kept together. What happens is it's resorted by texture. So the low texture Ligero becomes Viso, the high texture Viso becomes Ligero, the high texture Seco becomes Viso, and it really didn't matter what priming it came off of, right? But we still refer to it as the part of the plant because it generically refers to a texture or a size, right? So my point is, learn all the things that you should learn about cigars in general first. But if you say, is this Criollo or Corojo? So here's what I would like to do. This is a Corojo leaf on the table. This is a Criollo leaf on the table. There's one of each. You tell me which one is which, and then I'll answer your question. Because if you can't pick the Criollo leaf out of two leaves on the table, then why are you asking me this question? It means nothing. It's like me asking a master violinist what kind of wood their violin is made of, because it makes me sound like I'm interested. It makes me sound like I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I have no fucking idea what kind of wood violins are made out of. But I read somewhere that somebody had a violin made out of mahogany and someone had a violin made out of balsa or whatever. And it's like, the article said mahogany was better. So I'm listening to this music and I'm like, hey, now that I have a chance to talk to you, what kind of wood is your violin made of? It's like, none of your fucking business. Did you like the music or no? Right? I'm not here to, I don't know. Again, it seems to me like there are people who are genuinely interested. And I mean, like Tyler is genuinely interested, But generally, the way I kind of approach Tyler is like, Tyler, you're asking me level 10 questions when you haven't mastered level 4. So master level 4, then we'll go to level 5. And when we get to level 10, we'll be at level 10.
I just want to get to level 2.
I'm not going to answer your level 10 question just because you want to pretend to have an interesting conversation with me, you know?
Oh, hey.
You know what I'm saying, Dom?
Yeah. Oh.
Hey, check out the segue. Speaking of the color blue, it was a little bit of it was a callback like 10 minutes ago now. The King Quinquagenario. So the colors of Romecraft bands, I know Neanderthal, I think is Texas, Longhorn's orange. The Baca is Roll Tide Crimson. No?
Oklahoma.
Oh, dang it.
Sooners, baby.
The King Quinquagenario, is that navy blue?
It kind of started with like Dallas Cowboy blue, but then you know, I chose different Pantones, like different grades of it based on how it printed on the paper. It's not the exact Pantone as Dallas Cowboys, but it's kind of blue and silver and white.
Cool.
But
what color would
all the Dallas Cowboy haters? I don't want to tell them that.
What color is the Volstead band? Well, I saw the color, but what is it called? Like, what's the name? Or
Brown.
Okay. What does VO stand for in Volstead?
It's the first 2 letters of the word Volstead.
Okay.
Just like WR's Whiskey Rebellion.
Okay.
But BAECWR, it has to have 2 letters.
Gotcha.
CMAQ BK QG.
Gotcha.
Shout out to our sponsor, CigarNoise. Dave West does all the social media, whatnot for Small Batch Cigar. He does interviews on there. Check out blind reviews. Tyler, you see anything on Small Batch recently that you wanted to buy? You see the coffee break sampler?
Yeah, I had a knuckle dragger in there, right?
Chromag. Oh man, Pestra Moirilo.
Okay, it's size smaller. Okay.
Moirilor. Yeah, small one. Coffee break.
Mueller.
Okay. CigarNoise. Nice. We got some listener questions. We haven't talked about the Viso Horny yet. Rudy wants to know how the project truck is coming along.
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Rudy's
Tyler, do you have a truck?
It's not my project, so.
Oh.
Are you asking about Viso Horny?
No. Rudy asked about one of your trucks. I think the one that's probably still being worked on.
Yeah, I think they're always a work in progress.
All right.
So the 64, I have it back in. There was a problem with one of the distributor wires being grounded. It was idling incorrect, and then I had to change the rack and pinion. And then on the 53, they're still tuning it. I still have to get the brake cylinder painted and stuff. So it's kind of like down to little things. They're both drivable, but
cool.
Yeah.
James says, "Tell Skip go Navy, accelerate your life."
That's right.
Who's James?
Alec, Exceptional Cigar 229. He's an ICS.
Oh, he's a cool dude.
Yeah.
Where you can sell the 7 C's.
Alex Benchworks says, clarify to Skip, the Viso Horny was made with Connecticut broadleaf and not Pennsylvanian. He said on HBTC, it's Pennsylvanian.
It was blended with U.S. Connecticut broadleaf. Is he explaining to me what the fucking blend is?
I think so. I don't know.
It was originally blended with Connecticut broadleaf, and then we actually made it with Pennsylvania broadleaf. So because the Connecticut broadleaf we have left is not good enough to make the cigars, and the PA was better. So the packaging should say U.S. broadleaf, not U.S. Connecticut broadleaf.
It will be adjusted and fixed, and you're frozen again, like it happened last night. But
I still hear
You're
audio. It's fine.
you got a better freeze framing last night.
See, Yogi says no questions. Need for Skip. He's gonna tell what you need to know.
Oh, he skipped left. He's gonna rejoin.
Okay. Well, he didn't hear Yogi's.
You'll have to repeat it.
Huh. Oh, sure. Have Skip on again. What about me? Sorry, Yogi.
Oh, Yogi wants to come back on. We
Yeah.
can have Yogi back on.
Me Millennial Chat GPT. Did you see Nick? That was a while ago. He posted that write up about Foundation Cigars, and it was just from Chat GPT. I think he typed in his name. That was funny.
What was the question I missed from Yogi?
Yogi said no questions for Skip. He's going to tell you what you need to know.
That's true.
No, I don't mind questions. I know I'm coming across like a fucking I'm just not in a great mood generally for the last 2 years. So
Andre DS95 says,
but once I'm talking to someone, if you had to spend the time I've had to spend with Tyler, you would be in a bad mood. So
well, I feel
I've been I've been trying not to be around too much.
This podcast is where I get all my pent up frustration out. How come he makes advertising on TCA, the Cigar Authority?
Why do I advertise with Dave on the Cigar Authority?
I think that's the question.
On the after show, because they sell a lot of our cigars. So it's basically like a form of a discount more than anything. Mm-hmm. And they have a good audience. And
I think they were framing it, why not on here? But
we don't really. Okay, in general, okay, this is one of those questions where you're asking a question and it has, and I'm perceiving that there's like this like
subliminal message.
Yeah, there's like this ulterior agenda behind. So here's the right question. Hey, you guys generally don't advertise, but for some reason you advertise only in one place. Why is that? Okay, let me answer that question. We don't advertise because advertising is a form of demand generation. It is a way to increase your demand for your product. When your demand is already more than what you make, it does not make sense to pay to increase your demand even more, right? Okay.
That checks out.
Okay. So that's why we don't generally advertise. The second part of the question that could be asked is, okay, but you do if it doesn't make sense to advertise to generate demand, why do you advertise with two guys? And it is because two reasons. One, Dave and I were talking about this idea of an after show, kind of the way Real Time with Bill Maher does the overtime segment, right? And it may be good, kind of like deeper information, like a Patreon that people would like to hear more real answers without all the ads and everything.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, this is the after show. It's sponsored by RoMa. Boom. But then with the strength and character and all that stuff, it's become also a container for advertising. So it doesn't so much fit anymore. But, Dave does a lot of volume with us every year and we don't discount. So, we give him a little bit back in the form of advertising, which kind of greases the skids for the relationships and makes it more profitable him and good for us. So that's why we do that. If somebody else, if CI came to us and said, hey, we could double your sales, but, we really would like you to help us do that by helping us promote it, putting it in the catalog and that stuff. My answer would be, we can't send you any more stuff anyway. So thanks for the offer, but maybe someone else could benefit from that more than us. Dave came to us and I went to Dave and I said, hey, Dave, there's a lot of people that they're in your kind of audience that aren't really in our audience. They may not know about our cigar. How you should have all of our cigars on your website. And he says, well, I don't have that much room in the store. And I said, well, what if we got more traffic to your website through this kind of ad? Would you carry all of our products and get it to these people who aren't in the audience? They're not Cigar Hustler people. They're not Instagram people. They're not Facebook people per se. they're a different audience, right? And he said, yeah, that sounds great. And we've increased sales with him a lot. And, he's just a good retailer. He orders when he needs it. He pays on time, pays full price. So it made sense for us. But
I like the app show a lot.
it's more about becoming closer with that particular retailer than it is about generating more sales.
Got it. I think this is El Dandy Cubano. He was using Old Grapevine Cigar and Tobacco for questions too. He says, any new TV series to recommend? And before anyone has any recommendations, Skip, I think in the cigar industry, you're the biggest influencer of non-cigar things. You posted a photo of towels the other day. I'm sure people bought them.
Those towels are dope.
You posted something about Andor. So I had started Andor during my honeymoon. Dope. I watched 2 episodes and then just didn't finish. I saw what you posted, got back into it, and I really enjoyed it.
I gotta watch that.
Any other shows you guys are watching?
Yeah, so I'm kind of in the Succession. So this is the last season of that. I kind of like that one because it only comes out once a week, and then you have to kind of wait for it. I just kind of binged Beef on Netflix.
I haven't heard of that
with Ali Wong, and it was really good.
Oh, I gotta finish that. We saw 3 episodes the other night.
I've been watching a lot of On Patrol live, the police TV show, because when I'm working at midnight to 3 or 4 in the morning, it's just makes me feel really good about myself. When I see
it, makes me feel better about my choices.
Right. Whenever I'm like, oh man, shit's it's like, oh fuck, yeah, I'm doing pretty good. No, I really like that show.
The tough part about watching that at your place is I don't know if it's the sirens on the street or the TV show. No, I'm just kidding. I haven't really.
No, in San Juan, there's no noise.
No, I mean in East Austin.
Yeah, I mean, have I even invited you to the San Juan house yet?
I've been there once. I think Alyssa might have been invited.
That was a yes.
You stayed the night in the San Juan house?
No, not yet.
Yeah.
Congrats to El Dandy.
The guest house is mine, I thought.
No, let me give you some more shows.
Okay.
Hey, go on.
I watch Circus every week on Showtime.
Never heard of that.
Don't know that one.
I actually sent a kind of a note to John Howland a couple weeks ago, one of the hosts, and he responded back on Instagram, like through my direct messages, which was pretty cool.
Well, he's sitting this dude.
And I don't even have a blue check mark. Did you know you can buy a Meta blue check mark for Instagram and Facebook now?
Yeah, $15 a month.
So put a pin in this. I want to talk about blue check marks. I want to get your opinion on it.
Remember that.
Dom. But other shows, Mandalorian.
Do you like it still?
I do. I love it. It's like one of the old westerns, like Gunsmoke, that I used to watch when I was a kid. There's a new stranger in town. There's an hour worth of problems. There's
no, I was thinking
there's
Boba Fett. Book of Boba.
I don't know. I didn't like Boba Fett so much. I didn't like that one so much. What else?
Did you like Skywalker, the Luke one?
I didn't see that one.
Oh, okay.
Secession. You mean
I'm trying to think the things that are on my DVR. Secession, Circus, Real Time with Bill Maher, Beef. I just binged.
Did you get into Yellowstone and all those?
I like the spinoffs more than the original. Like the one with Harrison Ford was really good, and then the one that was older than that with
Sam Elliott. No, he's in there
with Tim McGraw.
Oh.
In Faith Hill. That was really. I think it was called 1883 or something. It was really good.
I like his movies a lot. He did Hell or High Water.
That's a great movie.
Wind River.
Great movie.
I think he did Sicario too.
Yeah, he's a good writer.
Yeah, I haven't seen his TV because it's hard. They talked about it on the Bill Simmons podcast a year ago about the weird streaming, how to watch it, the contract.
He also did Mayor of Shittown or whatever, the prison one.
Oh yeah,
Mayor of Kingstown.
Kingstown, yeah.
So I like that one with Jeremy Renner. I've been watching that.
He almost died.
Does he have one leg now?
No, he's got both of them, but it was close.
I don't know. I would say the number one recommendation right now would be Beef and Secession.
Got it. And congrats to El Dandy. He's expecting his first grandchild next month. And you want to know what cigar he should smoke? I say if it's going to be a boy, a Fiorella. Sorry, Fiorella, a Wonderlust. What am I saying? If it's a girl, 13th anniversary, Room 101. Pink and baby blue.
You think the whole tagline of two in the pink, one in the stink with that cigar would be
Tyler, that's not a time to bring that up.
But that's the whole marketing thing with it.
No, two in the pink would be twins. I have a granddaughter coming at the end of this month. What I would say is if there's, if you got a humidor that you kind of like, for example, I just pulled out this Camacho from like 2006 or 7 or something. No, probably 8 or 9. This Maduro Diploma. I just saw it in there and I was like, hey, I'm going to smoke that. But there are cigars that you kind of like, I don't want to smoke that right now. I'm going to save it for a special occasion. There shouldn't be that many of those, but that's the one I would smoke for. Then you should buy a box of cigars and smoke it on the birthday every year.
That's a good idea.
Tyler.
Wait, speaking of kids, Dom, any news you want to share?
About my student?
Look who's talking.
No, but here, Tyler, I think what I'm going to light up, I'm going to light up an Adrian that I was gifted.
There you go.
Number 1.
Oh, remember when Skip handed them all out? Mike's like, whoa, I don't have too many of those left.
Yeah.
If you want to have a new baby, though, the clear answer is smoke the Viso Horny.
Yes.
It's like Funky Cold Medina.
I don't know what that is. Is that like sexy?
It's like Spanish Fly. You never heard Funky Cold Medina by Tone Loc?
No.
Sitting at the bar at my local discotheque. You got to go listen to that. You got to download that on Apple Music.
I feel like that's going to make me uncomfortable or pregnant.
It's basically just a substance that makes you want to get busy. So if you want to have babies,
put on some Enigma, Sade, Seal.
Yeah.
If I get married, or when I get married,
Good.
When I get married, I want to elope.
I want to say I was sold
boring.
This spot on this podcast that Mo was going to be here and that Dom was not going to be here.
Yeah,
no, what? Okay, I told you Mo has been. I'm like, I don't know if you've been listening, but we've been having Mo on, and I asked him if he wanted to be on. And he's like, "Well, you have a guest," and so I'll let you guys talk about. I'm like, "Well, all right, whatever." So. But yeah, Dom, we only done Dom's been on every one. He won't even do them without me, and I want him to do them without me. But we both got to be on. So.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
Wait, where are these live questions coming from?
They're not live. I posted a story on Instagram, so I'm just looking through those.
Okay, so these questions have nothing to do with what we're talking about.
No.
Okay.
I try to segue in with the TV comment, the color blue.
Okay. Let the man. He's making some connections.
We do have an analogy segment though, and we have, I think El Dandy again. Don Viso. If Bad Bunny were a cigar, what cigar would it be?
I think is actually the appropriate form is Don Horny.
Mr. Horny.
Mr. Lover.
Sir?
Real quick, I want to tell you. So, like, I think after our third date, Alyssa asked me what my Instagram was.
Oh.
And I spelled it out. Like, oh, it's a VISOHORNY. They're like, be so horny? I'm like, yeah. And then I had to explain what it meant.
I do the same thing. One of my emails
you gotta break up the horny, Tyler. You gotta say it's VI, right?
Mm-hmm.
SOHO,
Okay.
and then R, and then NY. So they don't put, if you say VISOHORNY, you're giving away the game.
I think I forgot exactly. I just remember it. And I'm like, yeah. So
my email address, which is my first email address, has stallion in it. And I always spell that for people.
That's so. I love when I'm talking to people and I'm giving them my email and it's like ROMA, like Roma, and then craft, like craft with a C, then tobac, TOBAC. And they say, and like I was ordering cigars the other day, I was giving her like, she couldn't get tobac. I'm like, I'm ordering cigars. It's TOBAC, like tobacco. Oh, okay.
it's
I think it's for me when I type it out, the hashtag, the two T's throws me off. The craft, the T at the end, and then the tobacco.
I mean, you could go, pure military phonics, right?
Yeah.
Like
R. Roger.
Tango, Alpha, Yankee, Lima, Echo, Romeo.
Yeah, it's Romeo, not what'd you say?
I said Roger. I don't know.
Not. We had to memorize that at the airport to get our badges in Milwaukee. Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Echo, Foxtrot. Yeah, anyways.
Go ahead. I'm checking your accuracy here.
All right, let me start. Okay.
G
Alpha,
is
Bravo.
what? G is what?
Golf.
Uh-huh.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, hotel, I.
Did you forget the alphabet?
Yeah, so your problem is the alphabet, not the alphabet. Okay, hotel.
Igloo.
No,
Indiana.
No,
India.
India. Yeah.
HIJ. Fuck. I want to say Juliet, but it's not it.
Juliet's right. Juliet's right.
HIJK. Kilo.
Uh-huh.
Lima.
Yeah.
M is fuck me. M is I forgot M. I forgot.
It's Mike.
Mike. November.
Uh-huh.
Oscar.
Uh-huh.
P is fuck.
Papa.
Papa.
I like it. Call me Big Papa.
Q is Quebec.
Uh-huh.
R.
Yeah.
R is Romeo.
Uh-huh.
S is Sierra.
Uh-huh.
T is Tango. Uniform. Victor. X-ray.
No.
W.
Whiskey.
Whiskey. I know W. Whiskey. Then Zulu. Zulu Z. So Mike. I should know Mike. And Papa. I don't know how I forgot Mike.
Your Whiskey Tango Foxtrot.
Whiskey. What the fuck? Yeah. Whiskey Tango Foxtrot.
Or fucked up Fubu. Fucked up beyond all recognition.
Fubar. So, yeah. All right. I'll remember it next time.
But people that work in call centers, they don't use the uniform one, but they'll be like Apple, baby, canoe. Ooh. It's like you're fucking me up with these words. It's like
I swear to God,
we don't use the military one because it's associated with war and violence.
I swear to God,
aren't you in a call center in Vietnam?
Someone I know was working at a call center and they were reading out their confirmation number, and for Q they said queef.
No.
What do you think a queef is, Tyler? I'm interested in because you say that to shock us, and I really want to know. I really want to know if you know what that is.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm not asking for a medical explanation.
I mean, I don't feel this is a family.
We're rated explicit, but I do think my students sometimes.
It's also known as a pussy fart or a muff puff.
Oh my goodness.
A muff puff. a little bit of air that gets in a woman's vagina. Sometimes it happens after you have intercourse. It can also happen if you just
Oh,
have
see what he did. See what he
a
did.
goddamn vagina. It's nothing you should be embarrassed about.
He Urban Dictionary'd it.
Well,
He
yeah.
Urban Dictionary'd it.
Of course.
I'm surprised he can even spell it, to be honest. So he gets bonus points for that.
Queef. No, it auto filled it in my search bar.
So you've used that a lot, that word? By the way, Dom, this is like 80% of our conversations.
Just making him uncomfortable.
Well, just asking him questions to see if he has answers or if he'll tell the truth, basically. I want to understand how his mind works.
Bookmark, coming back to it. Blue check marks.
Okay, blue check marks.
Yeah.
Tread lightly.
Why?
There's people I know and we know who paid for the check mark, and I don't see myself ever paying $15 for a check mark, but
okay, so here's what I'll say. American Express has asked me, "Hey, do you want a black card?" Like, okay, I've been a member since 1990. I got an American Express Platinum when I was 23, I think. I don't know. I can't believe they gave it to me. I never even had an American Express Gold or American Express. No, I think I did have an American Express. And I traveled a lot, and maybe that's why they offered me the Platinum. But anyway, I took the Platinum, and then I found out they wanted to charge me $300 for it. And I kind of did the math on the travel points and all that stuff. I was like, okay, I'll take it. But like I give a shit if the clerk thinks I'm richer because I have a different color credit card, right? But at least they asked me. Right. So it's nice, so at some point American Express says, hey, you guys are doing, we do a lot of business stuff on American Express. So it's like, do you guys want a black card? It's like, what it's like $5,000, $6,000 a year. I'm like, nope, I'm out. For what reason? There's no, I have a concierge. I can literally call American Express Platinum and say, help me do this. And I have a person who can do that. So why do I need a black card? And really it's just to say
you have one.
No. I'm high, I'm better, right? Or I'm whatever. But at least you can't apply for a black card. They have to ask you, right? So at least in that extent, it's kind of legit. So the blue mark forever was, and I'm trying to remember MySpace or Friendster, if they had any kind of like verified account. I know you could sit. I know there was a time when Twitter. There was a time when one of them, if you were using a name like your real name, you had to send them an ID to prove that was your name, or they were going to discontinue your account. So like if you had like Viso was your first name and Horny was your last name, they're going to say, okay, this doesn't seem like a legit identity. Send me a picture of your driver's license that says Viso Horny, and then they go, okay, we'll change your account to Tyler Jeffrey, right? But if there were like a really famous Tyler Jeffrey, and that person wanted the account Tyler Jeffrey, and you had it first.
Yeah.
Right. So, but what they would tell that person is, we'll give you an account that says like the real Tyler Jeffrey, or I guess what they're saying is the important Tyler Jeffrey, the famous Tyler Jeffrey, and then do the blue check mark. But they would say it to you like you're an important enough person culturally, whatever, that people would try to create an account tricking people that they are you. Mm-hmm. And so for that reason, they would give you the blue check mark. So when you were writing it, people knew it came from the person they thought it was.
Yeah.
Right. So like my name's Skip Martin. There's a famous jazz sax guy or jazz guitarist or whatever named Skip Martin. So if you Google Skip Martin, it's this guy that comes up. So he probably should have a blue check mark so nobody thinks that I'm the jazz musician or whatever. I don't know. But I didn't even use Skip Martin. Our Instagram was based on a cigar store Indian, Chief Hava, right? Mm-hmm. And anybody in the store would at any given time could post to that MySpace account as, hey, Chief Hava is saying, kind of like Big Tex or, Kip's Big cool. Boy or whatever. It was like a character for the cigar store so that the cigar store Indian was telling you what the deals were this week or this is what's going on or whatever.
Chief Eva says.
Right. So that's where that name came from. Eventually, it just became my Twitter account. But like on Facebook or Instagram, let's say I'm Nick Perdomo, right? Does Nick Perdomo need a blue check mark? Everybody knows Nick Perdomo. They know who he is.
Yeah.
Right. His account is Perdomo Cigars or Nick Perdomo. And I mean, he's posting pictures of himself. He's posting pictures in his life. Anyone who knows any different knows it's him. So I guess if somebody went out there and started making like 7 or 8 other Nick Perdomo accounts and started posting, crazy shit, and that made people upset because they thought it was him. Like this guy that pretends to be me on Facebook that brings up political shit all the time. So like that account, I could maybe if I went to Facebook and said, hey, I've got 40,000 followers or whatever, but there's this guy with 1,800 followers that's getting more and more followers because they think it's me, and he's saying shit that's hurting my reputation. Then I would say Meta or someone would go, you know what? We know you're the famous Nick Perdomo of Perdomo Cigars. We're going to give you a blue check mark, so people know these other 7 accounts are not you. But we can't take down their accounts, right? But because on Instagram or whatever, it's a unique name, and they own that name or whatever. So that's to me what the blue check mark is. It's so if I'm looking for content from Nick Perdomo, I know I'm getting it from the real Nick Perdomo or whatever, or Carlito Fuente or whoever, right? No one gives a shit if it's the real Skip Martin, right? I mean, like I have my account. It's not even really my name. I've had it for years and years and years. I've established my street cred. It seems to me people who get blue check marks, especially if you're paying for it. I mean, not that $15 a month is that much money, but you're basically saying it's almost like buying yourself it's like paying a fee. Say, hey, American Express, please give me the black card.
I'll pay whatever.
I'll pay $10,000 because I want to have the black card or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. It's almost like a purchased status.
Oh,
no one's confusing you with anyone else. No one that matters. But if you have 12,000 followers and you have a blue check mark, then maybe when you give somebody famous in some other field or you comment on someone else's thing and they go, oh, this is a blue check mark guy, maybe I should pay attention to him. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and you can see when they had the blue check mark. So you could see, oh, March 2023. Oh, you bought it.
Right.
It tells you when you got the blue check mark.
It reminds me of the Dr. Seuss thing with the where there's like these things, I forget what the lummoxes or whatever they were. They lived on an island, and then a little shyster shows up with the machine. That puts a star on their stomach, and that's what makes them better than the other ones.
That's not the Lorax, right? Or Lumineers or something. No,
I don't know.
Lumineers.
Dom, what are we talking about?
I don't teach
the Dr. Seuss story with the star on the stomach.
I don't know.
It's a moral allegory about racism. So
I do know Dr. Seuss's name is supposed to be pronounced Seuss, but no one knows him as Dr. Seuss, so no one's gonna change it.
No,
Dr. Seuss.
He got canceled anyway. So
my point is, if the creature is born with a star on their stomach or special, which they're not. I mean, it's like skin color or anything else. It's like there's probably idiots and smart people in every group, but if having a blue check mark made you special or famous, and then anybody can just buy it, then the ones that will become special are the ones that are so famous that they're like, I'm not paying $15. It's like, how do you know this is me? It's like, either you do or you don't. I don't care.
Sneetches, SNEET.
The Sneetches, yeah.
Green star on their bellies.
Yeah, you should read that, Dom. It's about racism and prejudice.
Sneetches get Steeches.
The entrepreneur name is Sylvester McBean.
Sneetches
Calling
get
himself
peaches.
Fix It Up Chappie. And then so some people are born with stars, and he's telling that people without stars, they can buy them with a star on machine for $3. But it upsets the original Starbelly Sneetches, as they're in danger of losing their special status.
Yeah. So exactly. So being able to pay $15 for a blue check mark is upsetting the Starbelly Sneetches that got it the organic way, I guess.
Okay, I don't want to go too much longer over an hour because I will have to edit some of this. But Tyler, let's talk real quick. View So Horny.
What's up?
You posted the blend, correct?
No, the wrapper's broadleaf.
Did you post the binder?
No, but we've talked about it. Like I said before, I think if you listen to enough of the podcast, I've mentioned several of the components. So you have to piece it together. I'm not going to.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. He's being mysterious. Skip, did you try to talk him out of using the binder he used, or because it's a small project, you thought it would be good as long as it tasted good and combusted well?
Yeah, it's like I talked him out of the size. He was going to do a 6x60, which is basically stupid because there's not enough strength in VSO to carry a 60 ring gauge cigar.
No, the 6x60. It was one of the 4 sizes we did. I never was gonna. You suggested trying that. I was never gonna go with it. I don't smoke 6x60s.
You're saying I suggested it?
Yeah, that was one of the 4 sizes you suggested.
No, what I said was make a cigar where they're all the same ring gauge, but different lengths. And you said 60.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Which one of us demonstrates evidence of brain damage?
Yeah, I had a traumatic brain injury.
Okay. Right. So you had brain cancer. So when I tell you that this is the way it happened, you just have to trust me, Algernon.
Okay. No, I mean, I did say I wanted an extra half an inch, but still called the 4x2.
You heard that before?
That's what she said. Yeah.
Yeah, the extra inch matters.
Too easy.
But, man, it's smoking really good. And then,
and I told you 452 rhymed with 2 Live Crew. So if you're going to call this Be So Horny.
Yeah, here's the thing. And I don't think you remember all the details, or maybe I'm getting them wrong, but
I remember everything.
You came up with the all VSO. That was you. You said if you're gonna call something VSO Horny, all the fillers should be VSO. I think that was very smart. I love that idea.
That seems like common sense, right, Dom?
Well,
yeah.
I didn't know it would taste good if it was all VSO. You know what I'm saying? Like,
people would ask why it's named that way if it were anything else.
Well, there's VSOs that act like Ligeros and there's VSOs that act like Secos, but right? There's VSOs that have strength and there's VSOs that burn really well. So there's different. Anyway, go ahead.
No, yeah. So this is where I want to give Skip credit. Is he came up with the all VSO filler. I picked out the individual leaves. Skip suggested
leaves,
a wrapper
not leaves.
Leaves. Skip suggested a wrapper swap originally.
However, Chief is Chiefs. Still an F. Sorry, go ahead, Tyler.
Thank you. He came up with the
what is the plural of queef?
Hey, call that callback, folks.
Is it queeves?
Queeves.
I think you keep the F on that.
If it's plural, you got bigger problems.
Anyways, no, I was gonna give Skip credit, but he's yeah. So what you got more questions? What do you want? What do you want from me here?
No, I thought you were gonna give Brandon credit for designing.
Oh yeah, I was gonna. Yeah. Well,
did Yogi do the sticker?
I designed it.
Skip design
with a pencil on paper, and I think he did the artwork.
Yeah. Yes. I was also referring to the not really connected, but the
album
rhino
cover.
Yeah.
There's the album cover and then the rhino.
Wait, who did the rhino?
Brandon Brandon did the Rhino. And he
But
came up with a couple.
that was based on what?
Just like rhinos having horns, I think.
Okay.
So, and then yeah. So Skip designed the label. Brandon took the label and then put it on the computer, and then he added the bottom part, which says like kind of like some of the brand or some of the info about it. And then Yogi,
I think next we're going to do an all Seco cigar, and it's going to be called Low T.
Low T, yeah, I'll go with that.
Low tobacco.
Low testosterone.
Low T and Tyler. And
could an all Seco cigar be good, or would it just be empty or void of flavor?
Good. It could be good.
I've known people who tried to do that. All Seco. And then yeah, then Yogi, my man Yogi, he made me that dope ass sign. I gotta post that sign. I haven't really shown anybody because I didn't want to show anybody the label. Skip actually was the first one to post the label of it. I was kind of keeping that in my back pocket. But
so these aren't the questions people want to answer to, Tyler.
No, this is what Dom. Yeah,
people want to know: is it good? Yes.
Yes.
When is it coming out?
August. It will be ready in August, but I've been adding September on it just because stuff.
The answer is it's ready when it's ready.
Yes. Thank you, Skip.
This year.
It'll be ready.
The next question is, how can I buy them?
I haven't figured that out yet. I don't know if I do a website or if people.
Would you have to like become a business and
no
to be able? Okay.
You can be a I mean, you still have to claim it on your taxes, right?
Yeah.
So you just do on your Schedule C, you just do I'm a sole proprietor. You know, you don't have to operate under an LLC or anything like that. That's the legal way, right?
Yeah.
Which if the government's tracking everybody's PayPal and Venmos and whatever, that might be something you want to. I mean, technically you can't sell tobacco in a lot of places without a tobacco permit. Like in Texas, you would have to have a tobacco permit. But you know, non-technically, you could have the cigars come into Cigar Hustler and they could fulfill the orders for you for a percentage or something.
Or
small batch, maybe.
No, I've had people reach out to me, but I'll just keep it selling myself. Fuck, I got a P2. Hold on.
Will fit perfectly in a a fixed rate small postal, or even in a first class. It's a couple bucks to ship it first class postal, whatever, and you just tell people, hey, I'll sell you a 10-pack for whatever.
I gave Tyler a bad time.
$100.
I gave him a bad time telling him what he should do with his money because I thought it needed a band on them. I like that it's a 10-pack, and I think the packaging works without a band. Because I know that would be an extra cost, and then you have to.
Yeah. Just do a Masa without labels and put the sticker on it. I agree with that. Then put a rhinoceros.
I was just really against it because I wanted, like, if I hand that to somebody, they're not going to know what it is. But I'm probably not going to give it to somebody. I'm going to smoke it myself.
But those who know.
All right.
You know.
Tyler's taking a tinkle right now. Skip, I have like one more question, and then I'm going to start editing. Segundos. I've been seeing some shops have some, like, you buy a box and you get some Segundos. Is that a recent thing, or have you guys been doing that for a while? Where the shops actually have the Segundos?
Well, historically, we only sold Segundos at the factory. And there were a few retailers that came to the factory and bought the Segundos and then took them back to their stores and sold them or gave them away or whatever. So we started having other retailers say, how do I get Segundos? I want to sell them. And we said, look, we don't really want to sell Segundos because that's dumb. Because if you got a guy who's buying, $8 Cro-Magnon EMHs, why would you sell him a $4 Segundo, right? because then he's just going to start buying that, and then your sales are going to drop off. So we also have a lot of people who say, give us swag, give us discounts, give us whatever, so I can incentivize people trying these cigars. And so what I said is, look, if someone comes and buys a box of cigars and you want to give them 5 segundos instead of $10 off, that sounds like a good deal. So we'll sell you segundo. If you put in a $3,000 order, we'll sell you $300 worth of segundos or whatever. So then you can provide free goods with a purchase, which is kind of better than a discount, right? And our segundos, really, some of them, I mean, like today I was stocking a humidor with Wonderlust segundos, and they're really, really ugly, really blotchy. But a lot of times, like, you can barely tell the difference between the segundo if you don't really have a trained eye, right? And theoretically, when you're smoking it, it tastes absolutely the same because it came from the same batch. It just looks ugly. It's like when eggs come out, if they don't have, if they have a blotch on them or whatever, then they're, you grade the egg differently. Than it's not a grade A egg or whatever, right? It's a grade C egg or a grade B egg. But it doesn't mean that once you crack it open that the quality of the egg is any different, right?
Yeah.
It's not like it has 2 yolks in it or something. That's a different grade.
Or a beak.
Or a beak, yeah. A fetus of chicken fetus. But so there we have, especially around events, we've said, look, we'll come to the event, and the deal we're going to do we're not going to discount cigars at the event. You get 10% off when you buy a box, because there's not really enough cigars out there to give you a discount, because it is what it is. But if you buy a box, we'll give you, 5 cigars or 10 cigars or whatever of segundos. And on the other end of the spectrum, people have been buying the LEs and saying, I'm not really going to sell the LEs, but if you buy a box of Cro-Magnon EMH, I'll give you 3 Black Irish. Or if you buy, whatever, that's also kind of smart too, I think, because there's really not enough of that to go around.
Yeah.
I think it's cool that Mike, when he does events, he'll bring like a couple bundles of Wonderlust, and people are just so excited to try that. And it really, for the people who aren't like big cigar guys, like, I think it influences them to but it encourages them to buy a box, so then they can try something that they can only get in Germany. It's something special to add on. I think it is really cool, and I've seen people go crazy for it.
Yeah. Yeah. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah. My last one was about Candela cigars. I really like Candela cigars. I know from a processing standpoint, the wrapper, it's the quickest. So I think it would make sense business-wise for more companies to try to do Candela. It's just, if there's not a market for it, you're not going to do it. Have you tried blending? I know you blend inside out, but starting with a Candela, just a separate blend from the Fomorian.
I mean, there would be 2 guidelines. One would be make it don't make it a thin ring gauge cigar, because then the wrapper is overwhelming. That's my opinion. I mean, I've seen Lancero Candelas and stuff, and maybe people like that. I don't. The other thing would be to use really strong tobaccos, so that it basically doesn't taste like a Candela. So that's how that's how you make a good Candela.
But
so
I like that little bit of grassiness.
So if I took the Neanderthal 60 ring gauge Neanderthal and put a Candela wrapper on it, it would be fire, because it meets those 2 rules, right?
Oh,
but the thing is, Candela is not easy to get. I mean, if you're Christian Aroa or Justo Aroa, they grow a lot of Candela to sell in Honduras, but in Nicaragua, there's almost nobody growing Candela.
Placencia and then Noxa, or
but most of that tobacco comes from Ecuador, because it's really Ecuador, Connecticut, or Ecuador Habano that's processed as Candela. But unless, and a lot of times it's just hard to get. Ironically, I mean, it's not super expensive, but it's not cheap either. I think the last time we bought Candela, we got ripped off.
Damn.
but we only needed like 100 pounds of it, so it didn't really matter in the end. But
Why?
we
Why would it
paid
be more expensive if it's so?
just because they know you need it and you don't have it. It's not about it's not about what it should cost. It's about we have it, you don't. So if you want it, this is the price. It's like, okay. There's people who have good tobacco that won't sell it to you just because they don't want to sell it to you. So I was talking to Mike about this the other day. Is the place where we used to buy Candela, it's not as readily. We don't have the same kind of relationship we've always had with them. So I don't know how hard it's going to be to get going forward. But I mean,
Would you ever?
we hardly make any. I mean, we make less than 10,000 Candela cigars a year. So
Would you ever release the Cro-Magnon in Connecticut?
no, probably not. I mean, no.
Okay.
Tyler, you have any closing thoughts?
I would never say never, but probably not. We already have a good Connecticut in the Intemperance line.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, that's yeah. Somebody messaged or asked a question about the I don't know if you saw it, Dom, about the Craft 2023. I know you talked a little bit about how about that cigar. It was E-Man, BOT E-Man asked about it.
Yeah, so it was the Casa Torres blend, and where the accents are going to be Ecuador Habano, but I just did the blending samples. I don't know if I'm going to like it or whatever, and if we do, the goal would be to try to get it out before the end of the year, but you never know.
All right.
Okay. Was that the Casa Torres? I had a couple questions. Okay, real quick, Dom.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
We can make this a 2-hour episode.
All right. No, I don't skip. Man, I don't know sometimes about you, so I hope these questions you won't get mad about. I want to ask a question. I want to know if it's overrated, underrated, or properly rated.
By what stand? When you say underrated, you mean like generally the public?
Yeah, or in your opinion, what do you think? So, do you think like Franklin's barbecue is properly rated? Is it overrated? Is it underrated? Definitely don't think it's underrated. I've never had it, so I can't.
I think it's properly. I think it's there's no excess hype. I mean, what you think it is, it is. I think that people who go, oh man, I want to go to Franklin's when I come to Austin, used to be the people that say I got to go to Salt Lake when I come to Austin, and there's 10 other places that are as good or better that you don't have to wait in a line for, right? So I wouldn't say it's overrated.
Okay, yeah, because like I bring a lot of we went to Style Switch on Sunday, and I bring it to work. Like, oh, where'd you go? And I go Style Switch. I'm like, it's you go there, you don't have to wait in line.
I think Style Switch is underrated. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think so too, because it's like it's not like a lot of people here want like the hipster or like the super like it's been around for a million years kind of thing. But
okay,
it's
next question.
Okay. The Oasis.
It's more unknown than most people don't even know about it.
Well, okay.
I would say it's not over or underrated.
Okay. Bucky's.
It's a good gas station. It's pretty awesome. It's properly rated.
Mike hates it. Chewy's.
Why does Mike hate it?
Because he thinks it's like a Walmart. I took a picture of him leaving a Bucky's, but he doesn't like stopping at them. Like,
I mean, if the gas is 25 cents cheaper, then it's a good gas station. If you like the Bucky's nuggets or whatever, if you're on a long road trip and you want some snacks, they're different. It's pretty cool. But
well, yeah, for someone who didn't like it, he did walk out with a bag full of shit.
Okay, what's the next one?
HEB.
You said Chewy's. You said Chewy's.
Oh, Chewy's. Yeah, Chewy's.
Chewy's is overrated.
I agree. HEB. People love HEB down here.
It's properly rated. It's the best chain grocery store in the world, and I've been to a lot of them.
I agree. All right, this is different. This is more movie and music, and so do you think Avatar is overrated or underrated?
I mean, ticket sales speak for themselves, I guess. Properly rated.
Okay. I just don't know how many people went back to, hey, last night I watched Avatar again. There's no okay.
I mean, the first one was technically, pretty good. I mean, basically, it was a religious story, right?
It was Dancing with Wolves in space.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. So yeah, Avatar. I don't have an opinion, really.
Wolf of Wall Street.
It's good.
It's good. Tupac. Go on.
Properly rated.
Guns N' Roses.
Again, it's just all personal preference. But I mean, like if you take, like for example, Taylor Swift, I feel like is people go way crazy. So I would say she's overrated. But I like Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I think like Rihanna's overrated. She doesn't write her own music.
No,
You got to write your own music.
Okay, but you're talking about subjective opinion. Like for example, I think Elon Musk is overrated
I agree.
because I mean I think I think he has a very low tolerance for risk, which has led him to, and he had access to a lot of capital, so it's led him to take some pretty bold chances on things that have worked out. And he kind of saw it before other people did, which seems good. But like Twitter, does it matter? It's like if Elon Musk took over MySpace, does it matter? I mean, like the only thing Twitter mattered really to were trolls and virtue signalers. I mean, they have no. I mean, most people who are big people on Twitter never really even interact with their followers. It's not an engagement tool. It's a platform for narcissism kind of. So
Yeah,
it makes sense.
All negative and trolling. Yeah,
it makes sense that he took it over, and he has high demands or whatever, and he's kind of crazy. So, but I think in general, as a business person, he's overrated. Just like cryptocurrency, overrated.
Working from home,
underrated.
So if you had a business and
if I had a business,
I mean, if you had a business where remote work was a possibility, but you wanted to build an office culture, would you tell them they had to come back? Even though they've been
it depends. I mean, I worked remotely at Dell for years, and it depends on your job, right?
That's pretty dope.
I think I worked at Dell for 15 years. I was remote for 10 of that at least. So,
yeah, I'm a hater. I had to go to work during COVID, so I'm a big time hater for people who get to work at home.
Well, I mean, you can't really swing bags off of airplanes from home.
I know, but
you can't refuel planes from home.
I'm still a hater, though.
Well, that's the big thing is most people are jealous of it.
Yeah.
So I read this New York Times article about Chinese people and this thing called lying down is the translation. Cool. But it's basically like people who went to really good schools and then they worked in this crazy, 60, 70 hour week corporate jobs. And then they're like, fuck it. And then they went to work at a coffee shop, or cleaning cars or something like simple, the no brainer, that less stress, fixed hours. So I think, killing yourself for work is overrated, but that's me.
All right, guys.
I think brands on clothes are overrated.
Yeah.
Like, Dom obviously gets this. He wears whatever free merch he got and some Wranglers, some ironed Wranglers.
Free merch.
And then he probably wears whitey tidies, I'm guessing. He's not a boxer guy.
Boxer briefs.
Oh, see, boxer briefs are underrated.
They are.
I don't know why there is any other type of underwear anymore, to be honest.
That's planning for the future.
Wearing a new pair of socks every day.
Underrated.
All right.
I missed a question because it was a DM. Chip in Lonsdale said, Tyler, you're transitioning from Skip Jr. to Nick Melillo. I don't know the context. Do you understand how
he's
you're
saying
transitioning?
He used to be a Skip fanboy. Now he's becoming a Nick fanboy.
I don't know if it's a fanboy. It's just, is it the hats you're wearing now?
I think
know.
I like to think of our relationship in this way, Dom. Have you ever seen Tommy Boy?
Yes, but it's been a while.
Okay. I'm Brian Dennehy, and Tyler is Tommy Boy. Chris Farley.
Yeah, it's from Madison, Wisconsin.
And John and Sean are like the David Spade character, right?
Got it.
Yeah, okay. What about Mike?
Mike is like the HR lady. So Tyler has a lot of potential, unrealized potential.
He's a frozen waterfall. Potential energy.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Frozen water. Okay.
He's a real estate investor, and he's a dating expert now.
Tyler, I did forget how funny you were online until that View So Horny video with the groom.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He does work hard at the memes, but this is a byproduct of having hours and hours and hours between flights at the airport.
All right, guys, I gotta go.
Wait, time out. I got one more thing to say.
It's gonna take 30 minutes, Tyler.
No, this is the
You're
last
pull out a
thing.
list.
Hold on, Dom. I got questions for you. Ernest Hemingway, overrated or underrated?
I think he's overrated. I think his life is underrated, but his writing is way overrated.
William Faulkner,
I don't know enough to comment.
overrated. Dr. Seuss,
I think properly rated, but I don't know if he deserves the modern day backlash.
Sesame
Especially-
Street,
That Sesame Street's getting interesting.
underrated.
Stephen King.
Underrated
Ooh.
by the current generation.
Oh, for sure. By the yeah.
The lady that wrote Harry Potter,
J.K. Rowling.
yeah,
I haven't read any of the books.
overrated.
What?
Yeah.
She basically wrote books for stupid people.
No wonder I love him.
Who's the person that wrote Twilight?
Stephanie Myers.
That was a trick question.
Thank
The
you,
fact that
Tyler.
You know that is
Well, he read the books so he could pick up on chicks at the airport.
Dom. That whole thing was a setup to get Tyler to admit he's like a fucking teenage girl in his cultural.
Well, I mean, he's wearing Crocs right now.
I know.
I will say this.
Crocs
I'm like
overrated.
the least manly man you'll meet. Like I don't care about that manly shit. So
Who needs testosterone, right, Tyler?
exactly.
All right, guys.
All right, Dom.
I
Good
can't
talk.
believe I can't believe I took the bait for the
Shower thought at the end. Mushrooms in your yard, are they weeds? That's all I got.
They're fungus.
They're
Rock and
fungus,
roll.
yeah.
Keep those cigars.
cigars.
Oh, nice.
Yeah!